Oh, she's a Mississippi delegate.
Good morning, Democrats. Good morning, Democrats. Welcome to the DNC 2024 Women's Caucus. I'm still having a pinch me experience. This is my 12th Democratic National Committee convention. And I'm just as excited as I was when I went to that convention in New York City in 1980, wild-eyed, wondering what is going on, why is this happening? And those of you who may have read about it in the history books, it was during the days of a Bella Abzug, a Gloria Steinem, women who we know were fighting then for us to be where we are today. So when I tell you this is still a pinch me experience today, here we are on the edge, on the verge, almost there, electing Kamala Harris, President of these United States. So women, we've always done the work. Don't sit down now. Don't sit down now. Don't take your foot off the pedal, not 1 second. And you know when you get in your cars these days, and sometimes there's a reminder on the screen, pay attention, don't look, don't do this. You know how all these fancy gadgets on a car, they keep telling you stuff that they tell you not to do. Because how you gonna see how to read that if you're keeping your eyes on the road? So we're gonna act like we didn't see that. We're gonna keep our eyes on the prize. Keep focus, keep focus, keep focus. Each and every day. Because when we go to bed at night, we're gonna know we did something that day that was going to help get Kamala Harris and Tim Walz elected President and Vice President of these United States. I hope you all are enjoying the music. And we want to thank DJ Lily Jade. She's getting us warmed up this morning. She's not only a DJ, MC, and radio host, but she's an accomplished author and scholar who takes pride in her role as a leader and has an unwavering commitment to supporting others. Please join me in expressing our gratitude for the talented DJ Jade. DJ, Lily, come on down, come on down, come on down. Yeah. I didn't want to tell her.
Yeah, that's true. That's okay. Youngest DJ in the house. Yes.
Okay. Say something to him.
Well, It's just an honor to be here in Chicago for the DNC, and especially for these amazing women out here, these girl bosses. Girl bosses gotta support each other. Our women pioneers, our future leaders, and just everybody out there.
She's 10 years old. You'll be hearing more from DJ Lily Wade throughout this morning's program. You all know this is the first of a two-day program that the DNC is hosting for the Women's Caucus. We will continue in our fight to be the base and the conscience of the Democratic Party. We will celebrate the power of women leading the way in this party, and we'll discuss the critical issues that women voters and all voters across America experience. You know, this is also the year, 60 years ago, a woman from Mississippi by the name of Fannie Lou Hamer went to the DNC convention, spoke before the Rules Committee, trying to get a seat for the Mississippi delegation that looked like her at that convention. And we've all heard and we've all felt her words when she said, "I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired." But you know what? We now know when we say I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, it means because I got another whole burst of energy rolling in and I'm ready to go. Because she did not give up. This is also the 52nd year when another woman, a congresswoman from New York, Shirley Chisholm, said, "I am running for the President of the United States of America." Thank you. All right. Fast forward. 1984, in San Francisco, at that national convention, the first woman to be placed on a national party ticket as vice president was Geraldine Ferraro. And when you read her book, she says that in 1980, President Carter was seeking re-election. And we lost that election. And she said, gathering around with the few women at the kitchen table, she was going to see what was it she could do where the next time it rolled around time to elect a president, she would be in a better position to help. And she started out then plotting a course and started working more actively with the Democratic Party. And she was chairing the platform committee for that 1984 convention. And then fast forward, 2016. We had a woman who was born in the state we're in now, Illinois, but had the beginning of her working career in my state, Arkansas. And that was Hillary Rodham Clinton, who became the first woman to be on a national party ticket as President of the United States. And here we are, 2024. We already know we have nominated her, But you know, come November 5th, she will be elected President of these United States, Kamala Harris. So we hope to bring to you speakers across the spectrum who are going to talk about what Kamala tells us. When women fight, we win. When women fight, we win. Now we're going to kick this caucus meeting off, and we're going to follow protocol. At this time, I'd like to invite Joanne Sullivan, DNC Women's Caucus Vice Chair, to the podium to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Ms. Lottie. If you would all please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you would remain standing for the national anthem, and I'm going to warn you, I cannot sing, but I've been asked to get it started, so I need your help. You ready? Okay, here we go. All right, you ready? Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad strides we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bomb bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave. You are fabulous. Thank you. You may be seated. Land acknowledgements recognize and honor the indigenous peoples whose lands we occupy, fostering awareness, respect, and a commitment to reconciliation. Now, let us welcome Debbie Nez-Manuel, DNC Native Caucus representative of the Navajo Nation, who will lead us in a land acknowledgement. Debbie.
Ja, at she sanja kinenchle, tet na bilni bashish chain, tet na Jenny dashiche. Kabaha dashanale. It is an honor to stand before you and to share where I come from, the people who have raised me to be the strong woman that I am today. Thank you to all of my grandparents and relatives at home. Yeah. The Democratic National Committee wishes to acknowledge that we are gathered together to state our values on lands that have been stewarded through many centuries by ancestors and descendants of the tribal nations who have been here since time immemorial. We honor communities native to this continent and recognize that our country was built on indigenous homelands. We pay respects to the millions of indigenous people throughout history who have protected our lands, our water, and animals. While we meet in Chicago, we also recognize and honor the traditional homelands of the Anishinaabe, also known as the Council of Three Fires, the Ojibwe, Ottawa, and Potawatomi nations. We acknowledge that many other tribes who consider this area a traditional homeland, including the Miami, Ho-Chunk, Menominee, Sac and Fox, Peoria, Huskaska, Wea, Kickapoo, Miskooten. Democrats continue to support the tribes that they advocate for the United States to uphold the trust responsibilities and the treaties that come with them. We applaud in 2024, under the Biden-Harris administration, the Prairie Band of Potawatomi Nation became the first federally recognized tribal nation in Illinois in 175 years when the U.S. Department of Interior placed 130 acres of Shebene Reservation in nearby DeKalb County into trust. If you are of any of these people, please stand. If you are indigenous from any homeland around the country, please stand. Thank you, Ahiahat and Chicago. Thank you in a very big way from my heart and to all of my relatives who are out there. Ahiahat for representing here in the Women's Caucus this morning. Ahiahat and Chicago.
Thank you so much, Debbie and Joanne, for helping us always understand that when we're about doing the business, we know how to start it right. And it's not just formality. We do it from the depths of our hearts. Thank you all. Thank you. You know, the Democratic National Committee's Women's Caucus was the very first caucus started within the DNC. The second caucus started within the DNC was the Black Caucus. And the chair of the Democratic National Committee's Black Caucus is here. Virgie Rollins, would you stand and... And the chair of the Hispanic Caucus, Iris Martinez. I don't think she's here, but it's because she's working trying to get her caucus things together, and she'll be here. So. The AAPI Caucus is chaired by Belle Long Hong. The Native American Caucus is chaired by Clara Pratt. And the Disability Caucus is chaired by Carrie Evelyn Harris. It's the youngest caucus. And while it's not a woman chairing this caucus, LGBTQ caucus is chaired by Earl Fox. And of course, I have the honor of chairing the Women's Caucus. That's 7 caucuses within the DNC. 6 are chaired by
Women.
I'd like to also, at this time, introduce our officers. We have 3 vice chairs, Artie Blanco. And Artie, if you all will stand, and only because with this kind of podium, we're gonna have to redesign podiums. Because the folk on this side of the room can't see you all if you're set. Okay. Vice Chair Atima O'Mara. Vice Chair Joanne Sullivan. Our treasurer is Becker Doden from California. But you all know the challenges getting from point A to point B. Our secretary is Radhika Nath. And then to complete our executive committee, we have Selena Vasquez representing the Hispanic Caucus, Debbie Nance Manuel representing the Native American Caucus, Nadia Ahmad representing AAPI Caucus, Vivian Rodriguez representing LGBTQ Caucus, Valerie McCall representing the Black Caucus, and Carrie Evelyn Harris representing the Disability Caucus. If you see me just constantly looking around, it's because our program now calls for having some welcoming remarks from the chair of the Democratic National Committee. Is he here? Huh?
I heard I'm here.
Is he here?
Yeah, there he is. There he is, out there in the crowd.
Oh, Mr. Chairman. Talking about a person who has 2 little boys, and he's showing them what it means to be an American and what it means to be a Democrat. One of the hardest working chairs we have ever had. A chair who does not even think about saying no when a request is made. A chair who understands what we need to do and knows how to fight to get the resources to help us do what we need to do. A chair who is going to make certain not only do we have victory on November 5th at the top of the ticket, he is trying to help all of you have victories all down the ticket. Yes. Mr. Chairman, Jamie Harrison. Hold you right behind me.
Thank you. Folks, first and foremost, let's give it up to your amazing chair, Miss Lottie Shackelford. I don't know if you understand, and I know we got a lot of new delegates this year, And so a lot of people don't know about Miss Lottie. But if you don't know, you need to find out. Because let me tell you, Miss Lottie has been a glass ceiling breaker. She's been a history maker in her own right. Thank you, Ms. Lottie, for all that you have done for this Democratic Party over the years. She is our Vice Chair Emerita as well at the DNC. She's one of the original, and I am just so pleased because, you know, Ms. Lottie and so many of our other caucus chairs, I see Ms. Virgie in the house, Ms. Bell, that, you know, these are folks, Ms. Iris, our chair of the Hispanic caucus, who are not only leaders of our party, but they are mentors to me. And, you know, they have taught me so much about this party and who this party fights for, what this party values. And I rely so much on their sage advice and their counsel. And thank you all. Thank you so much. Now, I know we got a number of a lot of elected officials here, but, you know, some notable folks that are coming up soon. Siller Gillibrand is in the house, I'm told. Representative Escobar is in the house. Representative Frankel is in the house. And Liz Schuler. So I hope you all, you see, I've almost lost my voice. I hope you enjoyed the very first day of the Democratic National Convention. You know, it was, last night was like, you know those greatest hits records? Like, you can listen to the whole thing like over and over because every single one is hit after hit after hit after hit. And you know who they were hitting? Donald Trump.
That's right. That's right.
And guess what? Part 2 comes out tonight. And the folks who are leading the charge are the women of the Democratic Party. Now, I've heard Hillary Clinton give a lot of speeches.
Oh, yeah.
But my God, she gave one last night. She gave one last night. And wasn't AOC amazing?
Yeah.
Jasmine Crockett with her alliterations. But my heart just pumped when Dr. Biden and Ashley Biden came out to talk about Dr. Biden's husband and Ashley's father. It was so important for me, and I know Mignon more, that this first night that we gave Joe Biden his flowers. That he felt the love that so many of us have had and continue to have for him. And I saw him before his speech, and I told him, I said, Mr. President, I want you to know I'm still riding with Biden.
That's right. That's right.
We'll always be riding with Joe Biden. And you think about the contrast between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Donald Trump so desperately wanted to hold on to power that he was willing to risk the life of his vice president to do so. That guy is selfish. I want to say something else, but my mama might be out there, so I can't. But Joe Biden so understood that to protect democracy, to protect the freedoms and rights, to make sure that women had complete control of their reproductive freedom, that when he could not continue the race, he passed that baton over to also the glass ceiling breaker, history maker, the next president of the United States, the Madam Vice President Kamala Harris. And let me tell you this, y'all. Democrats always win when we run on hope and joy. You saw it in Bill Clinton. You saw it in Barack Obama. You saw it in Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in 2020. And guess what? You got Team Hope and Joy right now. We got our MVP of the team, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, and we got our coach in Tim Walz. Now, we can't all be the MVP, and we can't all be the coach, but the MVP and the coach need a lot of other teammates in order to help them win the race. And you know who the best teammates right now? It is the women of the Democratic Party. And this administration has stood up with women time and time again because you all have had their backs and you know they have yours. And when we get Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in that White House, you know, I thought the Barack Obama point was going to be magical. But on January 20th of 2025, it's going to be a cold and frigid day in Washington, D.C. And Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson will get up on those steps. And she will have a Bible. And maybe we can find a Bible from one of our civil rights heroines. And coming stepping out on that stage, on those hallowed steps built by slaves. And hopefully she got a tan suit on or a white suit on or whatever. Looking bad. Only like a HU graduate. An AKA. And she will put the hand on the Bible and she will take that oath of office as the black woman Supreme Court Justice and a black and Asian woman President of the United States. Are you ready? Are you ready to make that happen? Folks, we will make that happen because you are history makers. And the one thing that we know about history makers, when we fight, we win. We win. Let's go win this, y'all.
I just want Mr. Chairman to know, and Ketanji Jackson, a Delta.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay. I planted the seeds. We'll see if he shows up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Fannie Lou Hamer would be very proud. Very proud, very proud when she challenged us. Because every time we say I'm sick and tired, it means we've just pumped up the energy, And now we're going to have a congresswoman from Chicago, Illinois, serving the 14th Congressional District, who is a registered nurse, and the youngest black woman elected to Congress for some opening and welcoming remarks. Congresswoman Lauren Underwood.
Well, good morning, ladies. How are we feeling? What an incredible start to the week that we've had. Thank you, Chair Shackelford, for the welcome and the invitation to address the Women's Caucus this morning. Welcome to Illinois. So I grew up in Naperville. It's a suburb about 45 minutes west of here in Chicagoland, and I always knew that I wanted to be a healthcare provider when I grew up. Let me explain. I was born with a heart condition. It's called supraventricular tachycardia. And what it means is that I have a rapid heart rate that'll just stay really quick without intervention. Okay, and so it's well controlled today, but I spent a lot of time at doctor's offices as a kid growing up, got a lot of care from great doctors and nurses, and they really inspired me to pursue a career in healthcare. As I got older, I started getting involved in the community, got appointed to our local Fair Housing Commission, and then I took a class when I was in undergraduate school about nursing and policy, and that class changed my life. I learned that as a nurse, I had a big, powerful voice that could impact the health of our whole nation, and I was hooked. I had thought previously that public service was just an extracurricular activity, something that we did together like this, maybe once every 4 years, and then we went about our careers. But I learned that we could be involved every single day. So after I became a registered nurse, I got my dream job. I was working to implement the Affordable Care Act at the federal level, working on private insurance reform, healthcare quality and Medicare, preventive services, those free screenings and vaccines and contraceptive coverage. Basically, anything that the Obama administration was getting sued on related to the ACA was in my portfolio, and I loved it. It was great. And so I then had the opportunity to join the Obama administration working on public health emergencies and disasters like Ebola, Zika, remember Zika virus, and the Flint water crisis. We would show up in communities in times of crisis and step in, offering hope and health care to save lives. I stayed in the administration until the very last day, and I knew that I could not help the Trump team take away health care coverage from the American people. As a nurse, that's not what we do. It's not what we do. So I decided to return home to Illinois. I got a job working for a Medicaid plan here in the city of Chicago, and I happened to attend a town hall meeting that my congressman hosted in the spring of 2017. So you remember those first months of the Trump administration, yes? Yes. And they were considering many different versions of Obamacare repeal. And so my congressman stood in front of our community at his one and only town hall, and he said that he was only going to support a version of repeal that let people with pre-existing conditions keep their health care coverage. And I said, okay, I'm a nurse, I have a pre-existing condition, I have an Obamacare plan. I will take you at your word. Guess what? 2 weeks later, he broke his word and he voted for the American Health Care Act, a version of repeal that did the opposite. It made it cost prohibitive for people like me to get affordable care. I got so upset, I said, you know what? It's on, I'm running. That's all it took. Sometimes we have these big ideas, ladies, you know, we'll say, I'm gonna start a business, I'm gonna write a book, I'm gonna run for office, and then guess what, life happens. Well, I could not let it go. So I spent the spring and summer of 2017 figuring out how to run for office. A good girlfriend and I shot a launch video, we built a website, and I jumped into a primary facing 6 guys. I won that primary, got 57% of the vote. Yes. And then we beat that 4-term Tea Party Republican congressman by 5 points in November 2018, and I became the youngest black woman ever elected to the Congress. Woo. Wow. And I have to tell you, thank you. It's been a journey in the Congress, right? We did, 2 impeachments, January 6th. Okay, we did that. Great. We messed around and elected Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Yes, we did that. We had a Democratic majority, and we passed so many bills that transformed the lives of the American people. And then one day, our great Vice President, Kamala Harris, decided to come visit my district, 45 minutes from here, Plainfield, Illinois, and that was the day of the Dobbs decision. And as she was landing in my community, the whole world changed in that instant, and we knew we had to get to work. She and I had been working on maternal health care for years. We wrote a bill together called the Momnibus, Momnibus, to save moms' lives, right? But now that challenge got bigger, and we had to focus on reproductive freedom and ending preventable maternal death. I'm here to tell you this, that yes, when we fight, we win, but it takes all of us being part of this fight. All of us in every single state. When 1 in 3 women are living in a state that has advanced a partial or total abortion ban, it takes all of us. And I know that with the power and the strength of women in this room, the power and the strength of our voices as leaders, we will not only win this election, but we will win back our freedoms. Thank you, ladies. Enjoy your time in Chicago. Appreciate you. Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
I'm apologizing to our speakers. You know, we ended up being 45 minutes late trying to get started. No fault of anyone's in this room, but the logistics, I'll put it this way. When the plans were made and the times were given, evidently it was when the streets of Chicago were clear. And evidently there was not a consideration made for a credentialing process that happens in the state breakfasts, and if you're gonna move anywhere at all, you needed that credential. So I'm asking our speakers to bear with us. They're in the holding room. We're now going out of order, trying to accommodate, and we're gonna ask each of you to bear with us. As I bring Artie for you, we're gonna get Ms. Schuler. Yeah, so I'm sorry, I meant to tell Artie I was getting ready to bring her up, but Artie, you're now up.
All right, my sisters. Where my hermanas at? Woo-woo! Where are my union sisters at? Woo! We know it's better in a union, right? We know that. And I am so privileged. I'm a volunteer member with my fellow sisters here as a member of the DNC and learning from the great chairwoman, Lottie Shackelford of the Women's Caucus. And I'm so happy to have this privilege to call up a trailblazer, a woman that realized if our power is not there, we're gonna fight for our power. We're gonna fight for our economic power. We're gonna fight for our political power. One job should be enough to raise a family and take care. So I'm gonna stop because I'm so happy to introduce my boss, the first woman elected to the American Federation of Labor Congress of Industrialized Organizations, better known as the AFL-CIO, President Elizabeth Schuler.
Incredible. Good morning.
Good morning.
Are there any power women in the house?
Yeah.
It's a trick question. And I know there's some union women in the house. And siblings, because we are all family. Thank you so much. And thank you, Miss Lottie, for your leadership. And I am so honored to be here in Chicago, a union town. That's right, and I'm representing 60 different unions, 12.5 million working people all across this country. We are so proud to be in partnership with you, and I am honored to be here with the women who get, as we say, shit done, because we're the backbone of this party. And I'm damn proud to be a working woman. Any other working women in the audience? We talk about how the labor movement is about giving voice to people that most need it in this country, and that people who are often invisible in our economy and in our daily lives. Women workers, young workers, workers of color, workers from every background, cat lady workers, dog lady workers, This city is J.D. Vance's worst nightmare right now. And this is not your grandfather's labor movement. This is a movement of women, by women, for women, led by women. And in fact, the labor movement is the largest organization of working women in the country. We have 6.5 million strong. And we're fighting for freedom. That's right. Are we fighting for freedom?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Because freedom, as Artie said, is only working one job. Hello, we should only need one job to be able to put a good meal on the table for our families. Freedom is not drowning in medical debt. Freedom is earning the same salary as a man does for doing the same job. You want equal pay? Join a union.
That's right. That's right.
Freedom is about making our own decisions about our own bodies. Reproductive choice is a working woman's issue, is an economic issue, and a labor movement issue. And freedom is paid leave and child care and home care and actually having a life and time to spend with our families and your loved ones. And these are the issues, these freedoms that matter to all women all across the country, whether you're in a union or not. They unify us.
Yes.
This is what brings us all together, no matter where we come from. And, you know, we can go back to this world where Donald Trump gets to decide whether we have these freedoms, or where people like J.D. Vance tell us that women shouldn't be working outside the home, where we can't organize or strike or fight for basic rights. We know there's two paths in front of us, and we're going to take the path with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, who fight for working women, who have the vision to lift up women and make our lives more affordable for families and work for working families. It's about time we put a working woman in the White House. Let's get this done. Thank you. Thank you.
Woo-hoo, thank you. Give it up. Woo-hoo!
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I thought we were at the Women's Caucus. All right, my name is Valerie McCall, and as you all know, as we gather here this week, we are making history. We are nominating Vice President Harris and organizing for her across the country. We owe a gratitude to the women who fought so hard to stand up and have our votes counted. History is what you have to understand your history to know where you're going. And so as we begin this, I have the honor and the privilege of introducing Eleanor Holmes Norton of Washington. Oh, okay. This one. Okay, excuse me. This is on-the-fly editing. I am about to introduce the video. As you all know, Fannie Lou Hamer, we've talked about the legacy that she set for us, the legacy that she left for us, the legacy that we're standing on her shoulders of today. And that is our pleasure and our honor to have a video today to honor her, to represent her, and to remind us from whence we've come. That's okay. We're gonna show the video.
You did good. Yes, ma'am.
This video is going to happen. Oh, it's 5 minutes.
Who's rolling video? Here we go. Yeah, they coming.
Many people who are now elected officials would not be where they are had we not stood up then. And there was not a one of those that was not influenced and inspired by the spirit of this one woman, Mrs. Hamer.
I stayed on the same plantation from 1944 to 1962, till I went down to the courthouse in Indianola to register to vote. That's where they gave me a literacy test that was near impossible to pass. Now that's because I had gone to a SNCC mass meeting one night about Negroes voting. I had never heard that a Negro could register and vote till then. When I got back to the plantation, the owner told me I had to leave if I didn't go back down and withdraw. So I left my home that same night. I reckon the second time I tried to register to vote was in June of 1963. It was one of the most horrible experiences I ever had. It's when I was arrested in Winona with several others, when a highway patrolman carried us to a cell, and he made 2 Negro prisoners beat me till I passed out. I almost died. I realized then that I was committed to the movement for justice. And if I fell, I'd fall 5 feet 4 inches forward in the fight for freedom. Now, God gave me direction for this fight. All they could do was kill me. I mean, they've been trying to do that all my life. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. All I suffered during my life seemed small. I reckon to when that doctor gave me a hysterectomy without my consent. He cut the life right out of me. Took my womanhood. Down here, that's what they call a Mississippi appendectomy. That's what they did to poor black women. Well, you go in for one procedure, and they did that too. I always say a black woman's body ain't never really hers alone. All women ought to have a say about what happens to their own bodies. Then I went to Atlantic City to the DNC in August of 1964 during what we call Freedom Summer. That's where we planned a lot of events to bring attention to the cause of the Negro. We went representing the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, and I spoke before the Rules Committee.
Ladies and gentlemen, if this did not touch your spirit and motivate you, then I don't know what will. We all should be sick and tired of being sick and tired and being sick and tired of being sick of that tiredness.
Yes.
So I wanted to say on behalf of the Honorable Eleanor Holmes Norton of Washington, delegate to the U.S. House of Representatives from the District of Columbia and an at-large district here, she wanted to personally be here. She knew Fannie Lou. And so on her behalf, we want to apologize. She couldn't make it here this morning, but we just wanted you to know we wanted to share this. I believe that this speaks for itself, so let it motivate you. Let those words sit with you for a moment. Thank you.
My mother was very careful to make sure that I was not treated differently from my brother. My mother always felt that the same opportunities that she was affording him, she was going to give to me, even though I was female. Every Halloween, we always had the snazziest costumes. And one year, I said, "Can I be Uncle Sam?" And she didn't say to me, "No, you can't because you're not a boy." She said, "Sure, you can be anything you want to be." I mean, and that's what she told me all my life. You can be whatever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do. All you have to do is work hard.
My fellow citizens, I proudly accept your nomination for Vice President of the United States.
She had an impact. She had an absolute impact on the American public, whether they voted for her or didn't vote for her. She was the most famous face for women in politics and inspired others to run.
Are you with us? Then let's go!
What it really encouraged, I think, that may have been more powerful was women to see themselves differently in every sector.
I'm delighted that there is no longer that big sign outside that door that says, "White male only need apply."
She spent her entire adult life both building her own American dream and trying to give it to other people.
It's time to see all the colors of the rainbow when we utter the words, "We, the people of the United States."
It didn't end on election night. Jerry really helped break through the glass ceiling.
What Jerry did was not only to lay the groundwork, but also to lay down a marker that we can't go back.
When they write the history of gender in American politics 100 or 200 years from now, the first woman president will be the most significant figure. The second will be Jerry Ferraro.
Hey, y'all. Where's my childless cat ladies?
Where are my childless cat?
Where's my childless dog ladies? Where's my ladies with the babies? And I know everyone in this room cares for somebody else, so everybody shout. Woo! All right, just checking to make sure we're still here. I am going to introduce a longtime colleague and friend of mine in Democratic politics who will introduce our next speaker, Ashanti Golar, who is the president of Emerge America. Many of you all know Emerge, maybe have done the trainings in your state, so she oversees the entire national organization. Ashanti, where are you at, girl? Ashanti.
Sorry, hugs, everyone. Hugs all around. Hi, Mama Virgie. All right. Hello, everyone. I am Ashanti Golar. I have the honor and privilege of being the president of Emerge, the nation's largest network of Democratic women elected officials and candidates. Can I get all the Emerge alums to raise their hand if they're in the room? So if you've been around the convention, you might have seen us. We are in Dimpalooza, but also when you go into the restrooms, we are the ones who have sponsored the decals on the mirrors. It was very important for us to let you all know that leadership looks good on you, because it does. And we centered that theme around the original Emerge woman, our Vice President, Kamala Harris. Our organization came out of the Vice President's very first race for DA. So for us, it's not shocking to see where she is at now. But we know that we need more women running for office at all levels of government. I'll break it down really quick. There's 520,000 elected offices in this country. Women were 51% of the population. We don't occupy 51% of those offices. Men occupy 75%. Parity is great, but I'm also very honest about the fact that parity doesn't get us good policy. And if we want good policy at Emerge, under my leadership, we are going for majority Democratic women governing bodies, because that is how we will get it done. We've trained over 6,000 women to run for office. Over half of them have run and won at some point, and we currently have over 1,200 serving in elected offices at all levels. So we are having live talks tomorrow at Dimpalooza. Please come and join us. You can visit us at emergeamerica.org. But now I am so honored to introduce a great woman. When we talk about needing women at all levels, we especially need them at the executive level. Please welcome the fabulous Governor Hochul.
Good morning. Morning. It is still morning. We are on Chicago time. But actually, this is Kamala Harris time, because this is our time. This is time for women to win the highest office in the land, because it's been a long journey. It is way overdue. I'm so proud to represent the state of New York, which, New Yorkers, former home to Donald Trump, banished, banished, banished. Unless you're going to show up in a courtroom again, we know how to take care of that. But I digress. Go back with me in time. 1848 was the year that 300 bold and audacious women left the security of their homes and traveled to a tiny place called Seneca Falls. And that was the beginning of women saying, we are sick and tired of being treated like your property. We have no rights. We can't do anything without the permission of our husband. And there was such shock that went through the state of New York and America that women would gather and demand rights. But you know what? There were so many voices, including Frederick Douglass, who stood up at that convention and said that we should have the audacity not just to demand rights, but the right to elect our leaders and the right to vote. Yes. It took many more decades, but we secured that right here in the state of New York, and that's why I'm so proud of the trailblazing women that we have set on a path to success, or at least breaking the glass barriers. And let me reference, first of all, Shirley Chisholm, the first woman of color to stand up and say, I'm running for president. Geraldine Ferraro, who we're celebrating. First female vice president candidate for any major party. And you know what about her? This is the 40th year, 40 years ago. I'm going to ask a real simple question. How many of you were alive 40 years ago? Okay, all right, just checking. You know where I was 40 years ago? I was a 25-year-old congressional staffer. She came into our office to meet the congressman after she secured that nomination. And I, as a young woman who loved politics but always viewed my role as behind the scenes helping the men, when she walked in the office and shook my hand as our nominee for this position, I had two thoughts. My God, she's as short as I am. I'm still short. But I also thought, maybe this means that women can just do more than just be the supporting cast to the men in the leading roles. That's what she did for me. She did that for thousands of women. And we succeed with Kamala Harris, there'll be no more barriers. That'll be proof that every little girl can grow up to be whatever she wants because someone has gone before. That's the power we hold, women. That's the power we're going to exercise. That's the power we're going to use to make sure that Kamala Harris and my great friend, our governor from Minnesota, Tim Walz, are successful. Use that power, my friends. Let's take that to the streets. Take it to the neighborhoods. Take it to the churches, the synagogues, the mosques. Get out there and talk to everybody. Because otherwise, you do not want to have to explain to your children or grandchildren that we allowed the Trump travesty part 2 to be replayed again. Okay, not going to happen on our watch, is it? No and hell no. Say no and hell no. No and hell no. No and hell no. That's how we talk in New York. Listen, let's bring it home, women. I'm counting on all of you. America's counting on you. Democrats counting. Let's get it done.
Get it done.
Another clap for the governor.
She's a tiny little person.
And ladies, another clap for another governor from the great state of Minnesota. Governor Walz is a man of integrity, love for his country, knows what it's like to be a servant, a public servant, knows what it's like to serve your country, knows what it's like to say to the people, I am here for you. A man who understands what our children need when we parents trust them to go and be 8 hours in somebody else's care. A man like Tim Walz knew what to do, knew how to help those children understand that they were there because they wanted them to be the best them they could be. Yes. Choose whatever they wanted, and they were going to help give them the tools to do that. A man who knew how to teach competition. So I'm going to bring on Coach Governor Tim Walz.
Thank you for the privilege of being here. Are you having fun? Are you having fun?
Yes, of course. Woo-hoo!
Wow. Good morning. Madam Chair, thank you for the service that you've given to this country, for organizing and energizing this room today, and to all the leaders here. Talking to all of my former colleagues in Congress, incredible leaders, incredible women, leading the way on so many issues. You've heard from some of them. You see governors across the country. Someone told me, they did a little story, and they said, you know why Governor Walz has been successful in Minnesota? There's 2 reasons. He surrounds himself with talented women, and he listens to them. It's amazing how far you can go just doing that. You can sure stand on shoulders. And I'd like to say amongst this group, if for all of us, to just what we witnessed last night, and to give a hearty thank you to a lifetime of servant leadership, a lifetime of passion, a lifetime of decency to Secretary Hillary Clinton. Unbelievable. If you didn't leave there appreciating it, if you didn't leave there understanding what she did, and if you didn't leave there, and I'm guilty of this, imagining how different things could have been in 2016 had we got the work done. Well, here's the good news. We're not going to make that mistake again.
No.
We are going to get the work done.
Yes.
And this energy you're feeling, it's everywhere. It was in Philly. 12,000 people parked and walked for miles to a field in western Wisconsin. They showed up in Phoenix to the largest political rally in Arizona history. Because they know what we've got. We've got a leader of decency, of vision, of compassion, with Kamala Harris being our next president. That's what we've got. And for all of you, I saw it in Nevada. People stood out in 109-degree heat to get there. They were everywhere. Same reason you came here. They love this country, and they know this is our time and our responsibility to do that. Here's the thing you get with Vice President Harris. On Sunday, we were on a bus. Kamala, Doug, Gwen, and I. Trust me, my life is a lot crazier than it was 11 days ago. I never expected to be there. But I'll tell you what, that was exactly the place where things were right because of her leadership. So we were getting into Beaver County. It's an area that's been kind of tough. We have got to win Pennsylvania. We have got to win Pennsylvania. So we're going to these places. Folks who this ticket and this vision of this party will improve their lives. They don't need to make a hard choice. You go with us, we're going to be there for your family. You go with us, we'll help your kids get fed. You go with us, we'll get you an education. You go with us, we'll leave you alone to make your own decisions. But the crowd was there, and it was a big crowd. Supporters, signs. And across the street, there was a different group of people. And that group of people, you could identify who they were. They had red hats on. Thank you. Thank you. Here, and we're walking off that bus. We're walking off that bus, and the vice president turns without blinking, because you could see the group across the street that wasn't with her. And she turned to me and she said, never forget, we represent them with the same passion and commitment as we do the other side of the street. So, for everyone here, we got 77 days. We have 77 days to wake up on the 78th and realize what we've done. This group of folks knows it's well past time to put a woman in the White House. It's well past time to make sure that that leadership is strong and compassionate, because don't anyone in this room or anywhere across this country or the world, do not mistake Kamala Harris's kindness for weakness. Because she said it. Strong leaders don't push people down. Strong leaders lift people up. Let's lift her up. Let's go. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'm at Vivian. I'm sorry. Vivian. Women's Caucus, full of surprises for you this morning.
USA!
Good morning, fellow Democrats. How are we feeling? ¿Dónde están mis latinos? I can't hear you, latinos. ¿Dónde están? Today, I must say, we are breaking all barriers. History is being made in every aspect, and we as women are so proud of all the remarkable accomplishments and successes that we as women leaders and in this party are doing, and together we will win this. Yes. At this time, I would like to acknowledge a trailblazer, a Latina, the first Latina to lead a major party campaign, a family from farm workers. Her family are legendary. When you look at the farm worker community, they are our hearts, they work hard, and we are proud of all these different communities that really include America. We are all Americans. At this time, I would like to introduce the Harris and Waltz campaign manager, Juliet Chavez Rodriguez, and she will be giving a campaign update on where things stand and what we're working towards November to win this. Let's do this together.
I can't leave my girl Artie hanging. Thank you all so much for having me here today. I think it's the afternoon, is it morning? I don't know. I'm losing track of time. I do know that it's day 2 of an incredible convention, so we're so excited to have you all here with us in Chicago. I want to thank Chair Shackelford for incredible leadership and for the important work that everyone has done to bring us all together today, because we know what's at stake in this election. I don't have to tell you all twice. I know you've heard it from a number of speakers today, but we know that what's at stake is our fundamental freedoms, our freedom to vote, our freedom to live free and safe from gun violence, our freedom to retire with dignity, and our freedom to make decisions about our own bodies and our own families. Now, we know that the Vice President has been an incredible champion throughout her career. She has been at the forefront of fighting for our families, fighting for our communities, first starting as a prosecutor taking on sexual abusers and starting the first ever unit specifically focused on women and children. And that has continued throughout her time as Vice President, where she has been at the forefront of really defending the right for reproductive freedom across this country in the aftermath of overturning Dobbs. And we know how politically potent that issue has been, especially bringing home a historic midterm election for Democrats. So thank you, Vice President Harris, for your leadership on that issue, and thank you, Democrats, for continuing to show up at the ballot. And we know that there's so many critical issues that we're facing this election cycle. And we also know that the Vice President and Governor Walz, who you just had the chance to hear from, have an incredible vision for the future. They are focused on lowering costs for our families, on lowering the cost of childcare, on lowering the cost of housing and rent, providing $25,000 for first-time home buyers, continuing to lower the cost of prescription drugs, and yes, continuing to focus on fighting for our freedoms. So we will bring this message directly to you all, directly to women voters across this country. We have a lot of opportunities to take action together and to organize, because I come from an organizing family, and if there's one thing I know about organizing is it's going to take all of us doing our part, recruiting our friends, our family. So if you all want to text women women to 30330 to join our campaign today. We look forward to being able to hit the pavement, to canvas, to phone bank, to text bank, to send out the memes, to do all the social media, posts and boosts. But it's going to take all of us because we know this is going to be a close election. We're not taking anything for granted. But as the Vice President reminds us, when we fight, we win. Thank you all.
All right, for our next two speakers, as we know, the Trump presidency is going to impact a lot of issues we care about, all of our issues and rights. And so we have two amazing women speakers who are leaders in the work on things that concern us. Ajam Poo, who is the Senior Advisor to Care in Action, the organization that works to improve labor conditions and protect the rights of domestic workers, and Minnie Timaraju, who is President and CEO of Reproductive Freedom for All, formerly known as NARAL, working to, yes, of course, applaud, please, leading efforts to advance reproductive rights and ensure access to comprehensive health care services for all. Minnie and Ajahn? Yeah. Oh, are we? Oh.
No. It's Minnie and I think you're coming up. You're bringing the whole call to action.
Let's go, Minnie!
Okay, I'm gonna be brief. Hello, ladies. As a former Hillary Clinton alum, and as the former Women's Vote Director in 2016, welcome you wonderful, beautiful women. I gotta say, last night when I was listening to Secretary Clinton, and I was just talking to Senator Gillibrand about this, and my mom is here, not here right now, but at the convention. We have unfinished business, y'all. And that I think you know what the unfinished business is, but I'll say it. We're gonna finally elect a woman president.
Yes!
But it's gonna be because of all the incredible work everyone in this room has done to get us to this point, right? I mean, I was talking to my mom on the way here, and she was like, I didn't think, I really thought after 2016, hope was lost, right? We weren't gonna see it in my lifetime. So this moment, it's just so, man, it feels really good.
Yes, it does.
So a couple of really high-level things I want to share with you. I am now the president of Reproductive Freedom for All, and I'm running around the country talking to voters about abortion rights. So these are your top-line messages as you're talking to friends and family, and you go back home and you're knocking on the doors. Number one, Donald Trump and MAGA extremist Republicans are responsible for overturning Roe v. Wade. Period. Yes. We got to pin it on them, and we cannot let them wriggle out of it, right? So number one, they did it. Not only did they do it, they brag about it. He called it a beautiful thing.
Yes, he did.
It's disgusting,
Very disgusting.
the way that they've approached this. Thank you. I got my amen chorus right here, like, yes,
I got you, girl.
yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Number three, there is no place in this country where anybody wants politicians getting in the middle of these healthcare decisions, and that is a message that resonates with independents and conservatives. So that's our top line message. You don't want the government in your healthcare decisions. We need the freedom to decide if, when, and how to have a family. That fundamental freedom is how we're going to win this election. Everybody resonates. 8 out of 10 Americans, we are the majority.
That's right.
You got to feel it when you're on those doors. We're the majority. Everyone we're talking to, I got you. Thank you. So Donald Trump's responsible. Fundamental freedom to decide if, when, and how to have family.
Politicians, stay out of our business. And finally, we got to close with hope, right? Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are the most pro-reproductive freedom ticket we've ever had in the history of our country. Kamala Harris has been fighting for us as DA when she AG when she was protecting Planned Parenthood, in the Senate when she was grilling Brett Kavanaugh and fighting for us. Yes, she knew. And as vice president when she led the whole of government response to the Dobbs decision, meeting with hundreds of Americans, hundreds of meetings across the country, rallying folks around these ballot referendums, right? Protecting our rights. We got to deliver a federal trifecta so she can finish the job and sign the bill to codify Roe v. Wade and expand access and expand abortion access and fundamental protections for contraception, IVF, and remove discriminatory barriers to care. So I'm being told to wrap, but this is what you got to do. Here, I'm going to repeat it. Donald Trump's responsible. We're fighting for our freedoms. Yes. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are going to fix it, and they're going to expand our fundamental freedoms. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sis.
Okay, now welcome Ajan Poo, Senior Advisor for Care in Action.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the Women's Caucus. It's an honor to be with you today. I'm here today as the proud daughter and granddaughter of immigrant caregivers. I was raised by work that keeps us safe, nurtures our potential, upholds our dignity as we age or if we become disabled. It's the work that makes all other work possible. We live in a nation today where 10,000 babies are born every single day, and 10,000 of us turn 65, and we're living longer. And yet we have yet to enact the policies or the systems or make the investments that would support us to care for ourselves and the people that we love through the realities of life. Policies that support childcare, paid family and medical leave, policies that support aging and disability care. Instead, what we have are 53 million overstretched family caregivers, including 11 million who are paninied between the care for children and aging adults. And we have 9 million underpaid professional care workers who are overwhelmingly women and women of color. In the words of social scientist Jessica Calarco, other countries have a safety net and the US has women. But it doesn't have to be this way. Change is already underway. Thanks to our champions in Congress and the White House, many of whom are in this room and you're about to hear from, we have put care at the top of the economic agenda in this country. The American Rescue Plan, the Build Back Better Act, we passed a bill in the House that included historic investments in care. And when it didn't make it through the Senate, the Biden-Harris administration issued the most sweeping executive order on care in history. This is the unfinished business of the last 3 years. Maya Angelou once said, "People don't remember what you say, they remember how you make them feel." For the first time in generations, with care at the top of the agenda, families feel hope that change is on the way, that we can be the generation that fundamentally changes the way that we support our families and the care that we need across this country. And it's urgent. That's why these issues pull through the roof and why an unprecedented movement for care is growing across rural, urban, and suburban communities under the banner, Care Can't Wait. Care Can't Wait is investing in care that could change it all. We invite you to join us at a panel this afternoon at 1 o'clock. Thank you for having me. Care Can't Wait.
All right, thank you very much. Are y'all excited? Y'all still here? Let's go, women! Women power, baby. Women get shit done. Oh, sorry, get stuff done. Can't help it. I'm about to bring up someone from New York. I hear this is how they talk. Here we go. This amazing trailblazer became a senator in 2009, successfully pushed for the repeal of the discrimination don't ask, don't tell policy, passed the historic 9/11 health bill, giving long overdue support to first responders, made gun trafficking a federal crime after more than a decade of advocacy. She persisted. Delivered benefits to our veterans exposed to toxic burn pits, enacted some of the most critical workplace reforms in modern history. And she continues to do this today. So it's my honor to introduce Senator Kirsten Gillibrand of New York.
Thank you, everybody. Who's having fun at this convention? I hope everyone loved the speeches last night. I was in tears at least 3 or 4 times. I think this is going to be the most unbelievably inspiring convention that we've ever been at and we've ever participated in. Kamala Harris's mom used to say, "You may be the first to do many things, but make sure you are not the last." Right. Like many of our moms, she was right, she was wise, and she knew things that we didn't know. We all stand on the shoulders of those who dared to dream for better things, who fought for our rights and didn't give up. In 1872, the first woman to formally run for president was a woman named Victoria Woodhull. She was a 34-year-old suffragist, abolitionist, and businesswoman. And the Equal Rights Party, we don't have that anymore, but remember it, the Equal Rights Party nominated her along with Frederick Douglass to be her vice president. Now, Victoria, like Kamala, was a change maker who never backed down from a fight. 100 years later, New York produced a congresswoman named Shirley Chisholm, who also ran for president, first black candidate to contest the nomination of a major party. And in 1984, just a dozen years later, our own Geraldine Ferraro, another New York congresswoman, became our first vice presidential nominee. Now, this is a history we know, and we heard about it last night from Hillary Clinton, part of that long line of fighters. These women are the shoulders on whom we stand to get Kamala Harris to be president of the United States. Today, we are nominating her, and she will take all of that collective blood, sweat, tears, 150 years of advocacy to lead us and this party to victory. Kamala has told us that she knows what it means to exist in the context of all which you live and what came before you. Vice President Harris knows what it's like to stand on the shoulders of giants. So, we have some unfinished business we need to talk about today in addition to electing Kamala Harris, and it's called the Equal Rights Amendment. How many people know about the Equal Rights Amendment? The 28th Amendment. The 28th Amendment guaranteeing equality for women is ready to go. It is on deck. All the work has been done. There is no reason why we can't sign and publish that amendment today, and let me tell you why. We wrote that amendment over 100 years ago. Alice Paul and New York's Crystal Eastman wrote it, and we've been working on it ever since. But why isn't it the 28th Amendment? Well, we did all the things Article 5 told us to do. We got 2/3 of the House and Senate done in the 70s. We got 3/4 of the states to ratify. The last one in 2020 was Virginia. So why wasn't it signed and published then? Well, the reason was unfortunately, Trump was president, and he told his lawyers to lie about the law and refused to sign and publish it. But you know who agrees with us? All the blue state and purple state attorneys general, and governors, including Tim Walz, Dana Nessel, and Josh Shapiro, all believe this argument. So does the American Bar Association, which said everything's done, you should just sign and publish. So why does this even matter? Why does it matter? Why do we care? Well, I'll tell you why. ERAs have been used in states to guarantee reproductive freedom. Because if you cover all male reproductive care but not all female reproductive care, it is fundamentally unequal. And what did the Dobbs decision say? The Dobbs decision say that women do not have a right to privacy and therefore do not have a right to bodily autonomy and reproductive rights. But men somehow have a right to privacy and bodily autonomy and reproductive rights. It will be deemed invalid under a national equal rights amendment. So that is what we have to do, and that is why we have to care. So last point, what therefore do we need to do to get this done? We have the first female archivist. I had a long talk with her. And I believe that if we convince President Biden and Vice President Harris that this is right and just, she will sign and publish now. So what do we want? An ERA. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? An ERA. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? An ERA. When do we want it? Now. Where do you need me? Sorry. Right. I think they're going to give you something. Oh, something. Okay. Okay.
Hello, Democrats. Are you enjoying our session here with the Women's Caucus? We are powerful women, and we're going to go out there and we're going to make sure that we go out and vote and get our families to vote. And thank you for all your leadership. And at this time, I want to acknowledge Senator Gillibrand. You are a champion. I was a New York City detective, first grade, and I retired after 21 years of service in 2004. And I was there during 9/11. I was working with the Intelligence Division, counterterrorism, and we did a lot of work. And I want to say, Senator, thank you from the bottom of my heart for really protecting law enforcement and all health responders. You know, we really just, you know, I get very emotional because of the things that I did see and what I did. And I know that your support passing that 9/11 bill, especially all Democrats, that they were all there to protect first responders and their families and their health. I am part of the World Trade Center Health Program because I was there, and every year I have to go and make sure that I'm okay. And because of that, we honor you.
Thank you.
All leaders in the U.S. Capitol. Thank you for your service, and continue on.
God bless you.
Thank you so much. You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, ladies, we're ready for the call to action to do what we got to do. And I want to bring up the Honorable Deb Haaland of the state of New Mexico. What? Oh, I don't have to say it. I have to say it, the Honorable. That's all. Woo!
Hello. Hello, Chicago. Hello, Democratic women. Amazing women. I'm so happy to be with you this morning, unless it's afternoon. Then I'm happy to be with you this afternoon. And to be with so many friends here. I'm here in my personal capacity, so you can call me Deb. You can also call me Auntie Deb. Somebody called me Auntie Deb there. Throughout my political journey, I have learned that representation matters. And at a time when women lose rights by the minute and our democracy is in jeopardy because of a dangerous man, it matters more than ever. We deserve to have a voice in laws and decisions made about us, and to have someone behind that desk who understands the challenges and struggles of American women. You know, I've lived most of my adult life paycheck to paycheck. As a single mom, at times I had to decide whether to pay rent or buy food. Some of you know what it's like to find the free activities for your kid so they can remember their childhood fondly. I'm not a stranger to the struggles of many families across this country, and neither is Kamala Harris. She grew up middle class, raised by a single mom, worked through college like us, and took care of a sick parent. Tim Walz knows what it's like to raise his kids on a teacher's salary. There is so much value in having elected officials who understand struggle. That is something Kamala's opponent would never understand. And I have one thing to say about that. We are not going back. I am ready to do whatever it takes to elect Kamala Harris so that she is our next president of the United States. Are you ready? We had an amazing night last night. So many amazing women on stage, women who have broken glass ceilings everywhere. Hillary Clinton, who has never stopped working to help our children to have a better future. What a moment we are in. We are on the forefront of finally electing the first woman president. Look, we all know who does the work. At work, at home, in the campaign office, we can make big things happen. Thank you, Lottie, for your vision and your tremendous leadership. Thank you to all the candidates who have and are stepping up to run and to win. I know something about that, too. I was counted out before I even had my primary. They said I couldn't raise the money. But guess what? I was elected in 2018 in the largest class of women to Congress in our history. When women vote, women win. So let's do it together. Let's be fierce. Let's win this thing. Thank you all so much, and have a great convention.
I will not have to report to my doctor that I didn't get my steps in, because I am getting these steps in. We want to recognize that Mignon Moore is in the house, our incredible chair of the convention. Now it's time, ladies, to have a call to action. If you can stay, please stay. I'd like to call Artie, come help me. Let's call all of thy women for action.
This, okay? I'm going with her first. Okay. All right. First, for this call, get some water, get some tea. Yes. Okay, got you. Got to take care. Self-care. Yes, we self-care. We believe in self-care here. So first, we're going to go with this group joining the We Choose Freedom. And the first speaker we're going to hear from is a congresswoman that everyone should recognize, hosted a great convention, Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz of the state of Florida. Oh, yeah, and then Mara's next. Okay. Okay. They're all Congresswoman. Yes. Come.
No, bring them out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and Governor, I just met Governor Mara Healey of the state of Commonwealth of Massachusetts. It's a Commonwealth. Did you know? Yes. Okay. Okay.
No.
I'm good.
No. I'm sorry. No, all of the women of Congress were supposed to be coming out. But you know what? Every now and then, the communications gets off. Representative Veronica Escobar. Representative Nakima Williams. Where are the others?
And Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett. That's not her.
Representative Chantel Brown.
Okay.
Representative Chantel Brown. Representative Lois Frankel, Chair of the Congressional Women's Caucus, Democratic Women's Caucus. The person who's actually responsible for me being chair of the Women's Caucus, she just said, don't worry about it, we'll sort it out. So get to it, ladies, sort it out.
Buenos días, hermanas y queridas de los demócratas. Yo soy Teresa Leger Fernandez. How are you today? Isn't it exciting? I represent the beautifully diverse 3rd Congressional District of Nuevo Mexico, where Latinas, Native American women, and rural women, let's not forget the rural women, know that we need freedom, and we will get it with women who lead, who we elect, who have corazón and the vision to carry out our plan. And as Vice Chair of the Democratic Women's Caucus, I'm going to introduce Nekima Williams as we bring our message to the hermanas and women of Demócratas in Chicago.
Hello, hello, Democratic Women's Caucus. Y'all, I am Congresswoman Nekima Williams, and I proudly represent Georgia's fighting 5th Congressional District. I also have the honor of serving as the chairwoman of the Democratic Party of Georgia and the vice chair of the Democratic Women's Caucus. It is my honor today to present our leader, the fearless Lois Frankel from Florida. Some of us call her Lolo, y'all. And she is going to present her grandchildren, but we have adopted her and we call her Lolo too. Lois Frankel, y'all.
Thank you. Hey, thank you, Teresa, Nekima, and I see my other colleagues up here. I'm Lois Frankel from Florida. Don't hold it against me. Okay. Hey, listen, I'm here to bring a message from the Democratic Women's Caucus in the United States House of Representatives. We are 93 members strong, almost half of the Democratic Caucus. Unlike many of you here, our members are mothers, we're grandmothers, daughters, and yes, we even love our cats.
And dogs.
My cat's name is Bader.
Yes. Oh.
He's a good boy. Listen, we bring our life experiences to the hall of the Capitals because, let's face it, someone has to clean up that Republican mess. Yeah, we work with those guys and the bodybuilders every day. Listen, the Democratic women, we're here to make a promise to the women of America. We're fighting with everything we got for your reproductive freedom, to lower your costs and secure your economic future. Since Trump's MAGA Supreme Court reckless decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, millions of women have found themselves under siege. In states like Texas and even my home state of Florida, women are bleeding out in parking lots. Young girls have been raped, have been forced to carry their abusers' pregnancies. And let's be clear, Republicans will not stop until they get a nationwide abortion ban. But like you and our next president, Kamala Harris, and Joe, of course, we won't be silenced, distracted, or sidelined, because we need health care, not handcuffs. And we promise you we are on a mission to pass the Women's Health Protection Act to make sure that there's reproductive freedom no matter the zip code. Because we know it is up to women to make those private, personal decisions of when or whether to start a family. And you can applaud for that one, right? It's been a long morning. Listen, you know, we work in the chamber with those guys, and we see how the Republican policies are betraying the working people. She said it's time to wrap. All right. I tell you who it's time to wrap. It's time to wrap those Republicans because, listen, what we see them doing is giving out tax breaks like candy to billionaires while cutting essential services. So listen, they've asked me to wrap up. I just want to say this to you. We know what's on the line. We know we need to bring back, we need paid leave, right?
That's right.
Instead of tax cuts for the corporations, we need to expand our child tax credits, make sure we're having affordable housing. And if we have any seniors here, it's an Social Security, Medicare, an unbreakable bond. So listen, I'll skip to page 4, all right? And you'll be happy.
Doing your job.
Listen,
I got you.
I think for many of us here, it's very sobering that we know our young daughters and granddaughters don't have the rights as many of us have. But you know what that means? That means the battle is not over. And we are here to fight back. And we are here to elect the next president and vice president of the United States, Kamala Harris, Tim Walz. Let's show. We heard what Joe said last night. We have the power because when women vote, America wins. Thank you all. Let's do it. All right. Who's next? Okay.
Good morning, Women's Caucus. I am so proud to be back in front of the DNC Women's Caucus, where I proudly served as a member of this caucus, the first woman that was ever nominated by a sitting president to chair the Democratic National Committee, and the longest DNC chair serving in modern times. And boy, have we come a long way. I am so proud that I had the privilege of recruiting, or as we say among women, voluntelling Lottie Shackelford that she should step up and run to be the chair of the DNC Women's Caucus. And she has done a fantastic, remarkable job ever since. So proud of you, Lottie. And Artie, it's great to see you, and so many of my sister DNC members up here. Let me tell you, my friends, we have so much at stake in this election. And I can tell you, as a member of Congress from the state of Florida, we are feeling that more than just about anywhere. Ron DeSantis, who is the state version of the extreme MAGA Republicans, has been imposing Project 2025 on our state for his entire tenure as governor. It wasn't enough that he imposed a 15-week abortion ban. They doubled down before that even took effect, and then added a 6-week abortion ban, which essentially means that we have a near total ban in our state. And we have seen across the country all of this election, the last few election cycles since Roe was overturned, state by state, where reproductive freedom is on the ballot. Women and the men who love us have stepped up to make sure that we can take our health care decisions back from politicians and the government. And that's what electing Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to the White House will make sure that we can do. We have to work our hearts out. I know the DNC Women's Caucus members do that every single day anyway, but we know that our most precious resource, particularly as women, is not our money, it's our time. And we need to make sure that we invest that time. Take a look at your calendar over the next 77 days and figure out, I do this all the time, how much time can we devote to canvassing, going door to door, getting on the phone, making sure that we recruit more volunteers, making sure that we have those parlor meetings that are essential, gathering our women friends and talking about what's at stake in this election. You know, all of us who have been involved in the party for so many years always say, the next election is the most important of our lives, so much that people sort of shut down and say, yeah, you always say that. Well, sisters, this isn't just the most important election of our lives. This one is existential to everything that we value, care about, and stand for. And as our presidential nominee, Kamala Harris, says, we won't go back. We are only going to move forward. We are going to make sure that my daughters, our sisters, our aunties, our abuelas, we are going to make sure that we double down on the work to ensure that we take our rights back, that we make sure that we don't have someone in office who is going to be corrupt, who is going to continue to be able to continue to exact revenge on his enemies. We're going to look to the future and make sure that we continue to make all the progress that the Biden-Harris administration has made, and Harris walls will go higher and better. Thank you all so much. It's an honor to be here, and on to victory in November. It is my privilege to introduce my sister, mi hermana, Veronica Escobar from the great state of Texas.
Hello, Democrats! Are we excited? Are we excited? I am so excited, so happy to be here with all of you. You know, last night was incredible. And I don't know about you, but I went between getting up on my feet and giving standing ovations to getting a little weepy and sentimental. But that's why we're here. We're here to make sure that we are rejuvenated, reinvigorated, re-inspired as we begin the battle and our march toward November. And I want to remind all of you of what's at stake. And I know we all know what's at stake, but I come from the state of Texas, which is basically the front lines of Project 2022, Trump's Project 2022. And I can tell you, it is a state where Republicans are eager to take more of our rights away. They have already taken away women's reproductive rights. We are already a state that's almost #1, if not #2, in uninsured Americans, a state where we're #1 in infant mortality rates, a state where women are second-class citizens. This is the GOP and the MAGA vision, their dark vision for women in America. So it's not just that we're going to the ballot box to make sure they do not enact this terrible blueprint on all of America, but we're going to the ballot box because we also have something to vote for. You know, during the Biden-Harris administration, last Congress, when House Democrats were in the majority, and when Republicans were talking about their pro-life agenda, and there's nothing pro-life about Republicans, they voted against the care economy in our Build Back Better Act. They voted against the expanded child tax credit. They voted against universal pre-K. They voted against paid family and medical leave. They voted against affordable, high-quality child care. Democrats were pushing that agenda. You tell me which party is pro-family and which party is not pro-family. Democrats will fight for your family and for your freedoms every step of the way. And we know with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in the White House, we will get all of the protections, all of the support that we deserve. We've got to make sure that we have their back because we know that they have ours. So, friends, from starting the day we get back home after this amazing convention, we got to knock on doors, we got to make our phone calls, we got to write our checks when we can, and we got to talk to every voter possible because we can win this, you all. We can win this, and when we do, we won't just restore freedoms, but we will restore hope in America. Madam Chair, thank you. Thanks to all you great women for everything that you do. It's my privilege to introduce my sister in service, Shontel Brown.
I-O, O-H. Hey, Ohio is in the house. I'm Congresswoman Shontel Brown. I represent Ohio's 11th Congressional District, where the former Secretary of HUD once held. We had amazing leaders like Stephanie Tubbs Jones, and it is my privilege to be here with you, ladies and gentlemen. So after all has been said and done, we want to make sure that more has been done than said. Is that right? All right. So let's get fired up. We got work to do. Now listen, everyone everyone has said it, but it's all been said, but not everyone has said it. And I want to make sure that you know, we don't have to wait until we leave this convention. We can start right now. You can text JOIN to 30330 right now to learn about what you can do to help us win this election. That's 30330. Text JOIN to 30330 right now. That's the Democratic base to learn about what's going on in your community so you can help us win this election. We have an opportunity. We're on the verge of making history. Now, I am reminded of November 9th, 2016. The day after the election, when we had one of the most qualified candidates in the country named Secretary Clinton on the ballot.
That's right.
And I woke up sad, y'all, because we ended up with who? You don't have to say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. But we know what we ended up with. And when we woke up that morning, I didn't think about the fact that 5 years later, 6 years later, June 24th, 2022, Dobbs was going to be overturned. And I thought to myself, on November 9th of 2016, did we do everything that we could to make sure that we won that election? So we cannot repeat history. We have to make sure that we text everybody. We have to make sure that we call everybody. We have to make sure our neighbors are registered to vote. We have to make sure we're putting signs in every yard. We have to make sure that we're knocking on every door. We got to make sure everybody that we know is registered to vote in this critical election. And it's not just voter registration, it's voter participation, because it's all on the line this election. So I need you to join me in this fight, because when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. So let's make sure we show up and fight this election. Let's do it. Let's make history this year, y'all.
You did it. You did it. You did it. You did it. Let's give it up again for the members of Congress, the women members of Congress, fighting every day on behalf of the people of the USA. And Mignon Moore is here. Mignon, would you please come and grace this podium? The incredible,
yes,
unbelievable.
Yes.
You know, they say, still water runs deep. That's Mignon Moore. You couldn't ask for a more caring, concerned person than Mignon Moore. You couldn't ask for a better visionary than Mignon Moore. You can't ask for a better organizer than Mignon Moore. You can't ask for a better leader than Mignon Moore. And she, with her team, has made certain we enjoy all of what Chicago and Illinois have to offer. Mignon Moore, chair of this 2024 Democratic National Convention. I know she was saying, I'm here, but you don't have to bring me. I don't have to speak. But yes, she does. She does have to speak. She's so humble.
Well, I really don't have to speak because I've listened to all the speakers that have come before me. But I do want to say something about Lottie. She has been a mentor, a friend, a guide, a North Star for not just me, but for many of us that you see holding these positions. It's people like Lottie who I call the hero and the unsung hero of this party. She has served us diligently, and long before there was a Mignon, a Donna, a Leah, or any of the women that you see running around here trying to help make this party great, it was Lottie who paved the way as one of the first mayors of Little Rock, Arkansas. And when she came in with Bill Clinton, she opened the doors for us. She didn't close the door, so I thank her publicly. She knows how much I love her, and I don't want her to work as hard as she's working, but she does work hard. But I'd also like to recognize my other leader, Virgie Rollins, who holds down the Black Caucus, and I'll be by there tomorrow. But I'm so honored that everybody is here. This has been an incredible journey for me and the team that has worked so hard to just get here. You know, as you get through day one, you see all the kinks, but then as I listened to my mother, she would always say, when you find the problems, find the good and praise it too. And so the good for me has been to make sure we can take care of people with quality, make sure that they have the access that they need, make sure that they enjoy the program, make sure that they see themselves, in particular women, to make sure that they see themselves in this program. But I thank you all for being the kind-hearted souls that you are and the soldiers of this party, because I know when you leave here, the work really begins. And hopefully you're energized enough to say we're going to take this across the finish line. I do want to say one thing. I just had an opportunity to speak with Governor Walz. Who doesn't love Governor Walz? Who does not love Governor Walz? He is, you're talking about bringing back the joy. He is the joy. So I ask that you all continue to spread the good news about him and to talk a lot about him, because in him we see a lot of things. We see middle America, which I am born and raised Chicago. No pretension in me. I'm all what you see is what you get. That is him. Great family man. And so please lift him up in your speeches and when you're out and about town talking to people. And then obviously, most people know that I have been on this journey with Vice President Harris for 3.5 years now. And we finally see who Vice President Harris is. But she has been a dutiful partner to President Biden, a person she has grown to love. I think the families have grown to love each other. So as they blaze trail this next couple of months, keep in mind, America has yet to see a woman president. When Hillary Clinton stepped out on that stage last night, she reminded us of what it could have been like to have a female president. And we all know she smashed that glass and she won the electoral votes. So I think she is another trailblazer, and she's blazed the trail, but we shouldn't take for granted what it's like to get America to see a woman, and in particular, a woman of color. She's immensely qualified. She's done more foreign policy trips than I think I will ever do in my entire lifetime. And she understands this world. She understands the complexity, but she also understands the future. And she will take us to the future. Many of us have nieces, nephews, grandchildren, and that is the person you want guiding us to the future. So I love you all. Thank you very much. Get in the hall early tonight. Roll call is going to be a blast, and you're going to have a good time. Thank you.
I know, really. You too. Thank you, Mignon. They tell me we have to get a picture, Mignon. Okay. They tell me we have to get a picture. Hurry. Well, I'm going to say we want to make certain we recognize grassroots organizations, and they will have materials there. And on Thursday, 9:30 to 11:30, hopefully all of the kinks will be gone and people will be able to get here earlier. But don't forget to wear your white on Thursday.
I will, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Where?